In House of the Dragon, a gold cloak and a rat catcher murdered a young prince, and further pushed the realm towards inevitable war. In the book, their story is different. So who are they? Who gave them the assassination order? And what were their true fates? This is the real Blood and Cheese. In Season 2 of House of the Dragon, Queen Rhaenyra wants Aemond Targaryen as revenge for the murder of her son, Lucerys Velaryon. Her words are ambiguous. Does she want him to face trial or death? Ultimately, it doesn't matter. Her husband and uncle, the dangerous Prince Daemon, takes matters into his own hands. He wants his nephew assassinated, but first he requires contacts in King's Landing. The Velaryon blockade captures a trade ship, and a stowaway is caught, Lady Mysaria herself. Before fire and schemes drove her out of King's Landing, the White Worm ran a network of spies throughout the city and within the Red Keep. Daemon offers her freedom in return for some loyal assets. He is directed to two unsavoury men, a gold cloak named Blood and a rat catcher named Cheese. Prince Daemon himself revitalised the City Watch, and many within its ranks hold a fierce loyalty to their former commander, including Blood. Cheese, meanwhile, hunts rats within the lower levels of the Red Keep, and his presence is often unnoticed. He also appears to be in debt, addicted to betting on dogfights. To sneak into the Red Keep and murder a prince is no easy feat, and so Daemon pays them in gold, half before the murder and half once they return with the head. When Cheese asks what they should do if they can't find Aemond, Daemon's off-screen reply includes the phrase, "A son for a son." Things are even more ambiguous in the book. Daemon Targaryen resides in Harrenhal and contacts his former lover, Mysaria, who is currently operating in King's Landing. This White Worm is called so due to her pale skin and hair and aged thickness. She is far more ruthless than her show counterpart, personally hiring Blood and Cheese on Daemon's behalf. Blood is a hulking butcher, a former sergeant of the City Watch before he was kicked out for drunkenly beating a prostitute to death. Cheese is a rat catcher who has discovered the secret doors and tunnels of the Red Keep, built by King Maegor the Cruel himself. Assassinating Aegon is off the table. He and his family, protected by Kingsguard, live in Maegor's Holdfast, a fort within the Red Keep. Not even Cheese knows the entrance. Instead, they plot to murder one of Aegon's sons, if the text can be believed. In the show, we watch this grotesque duo sneaking through the sewers before emerging into the throne room. Aegon is entertaining his friends, protected by guards. Both assassins are dressed as rat catchers, and Cheese brings his sniffer dog. Neither of these commoners are paid any mind by the drunken nobles. Eventually, Cheese tells Blood to continue without him. He states that the nobles live on the upper floor where he's never worked, and so he does not know his way around. It's uncertain whether he's telling the truth or lying to stay out of danger. Nonetheless, Blood threatens his life and forces him to continue onwards. The emasculated rat catcher angrily kicks his dog, which is no surprise from a man who confesses to betting on dogfights. They emerge in Aemond's bedroom, but he is absent. We later learn that he had visited a brothel to spend time with its madam, an older woman he lost his virginity to as a boy. Unable to find the target, Blood loots the room like a D&D player and orders them to split up. He encounters a maid and awkwardly tries to set up a rat trap for appearance's sake, but she flees. Before he can hunt her down, he hears a noise. Cheese had taken Queen Helaena hostage in her bedroom. Before them lie her twin children, Prince Jaehaerys and Princess Jaehaera. In the book, the plan is different. The assassins sneak through the secret tunnels and into the Tower of the Hand, where Otto and Alicent live. They surprise the Queen Mother. Cheese binds Alicent while Blood strangles her bedmaid to death. Thanks to Mysaria, they know that Queen Helaena often takes her children to visit their grandmother in the tower. They lie in wait until the targets arrive. Blood slaughters Helena's guardsmen before grabbing Prince Jaehaerys. Cheese grabs her youngest son, Prince Maelor, who doesn't exist in the show. This is where the biggest change comes into play. In the show, Jaehaerys and Jaehaera are sound asleep. The would-be assassins were given an instruction, a son for a son. They can't work out which one is the son, and so they demand that Helaena point him out. The traumatized queen tries to offer her necklace, but Blood insists that a necklace is not a son. Knowing there's no way out, she points to Prince Jaehaerys. Blood assumes that she's bluffing, playing mind games, but Cheese realizes she's telling the truth. She is not sacrificing her daughter because a male heir is more important. She's pointing to her son because she was told to, and the consequences would be even more deadly. She does not play mind games or obsess over succession. She takes things literally. This, as well as her emotionally shutting down in horror, is indicative of her probable neurodivergence. The fake ratcatchers pin down the child and saw off his head with a blade. Helaena flees with Jaehaera and stumbles in on her mother riding the Lord Commander of the Kingsguard, Sir Criston Cole. This scene in the book is far more sadistic. Mayhaps the murderers are improvising, or mayhaps they were given specific instructions by Daemon and or Mysaria. Regardless, a horrific choice is thrust upon the Queen. She must choose which son dies. Helaena offers her own life, but they insist that it must be a son for a son, and Blood threatens to force himself on the young Jaehaera. Helaena relents, choosing Maelor. Prince Maelor is 3 years old, 3 years younger than his brother. Too young to understand what is happening, she desperately hopes. But the murderers are not done with their vile manipulation. Cheese whispers to Maelor, "You hear that, little boy? Your mama wants you dead." Blood then beheads Jaehaerys in one blow of his sword. They throw the head into a sack and flee. Let's explore the aftermath of this murder. In the show, the servants of the Red Keep are rounded up. Blood is caught trying to smuggle himself out of the city with a child's head in his sack. Larys Strong, the Lord Confessor, simply has to show off his torture devices before Blood breaks and betrays his so-called commander. He also admits the involvement of an unnamed ratcatcher. The furious King Aegon personally executes the assassin with a mace. The king orders all Red Keep ratcatchers to be hanged for all to see. Among the innocents, Cheese himself has met his fate. His dog stares at the corpse, whining at the loss of an abusive master, because dogs are too good for this world. Meanwhile on Dragonstone, Rhaenyra vehemently denies her involvement, despite the suspicious looks at her council, and the implications of Sir Alfred Broom. She soon realises the culprit is her husband. Rhaenyra rages at him. She believes the brutal murder of a child has weakened her legitimacy. Daemon insists that Jaehaerys' death was a mistake, and his target was only ever Aemond. He does not reveal to her his demand for a son for a son. In the book, it takes 2 days before Blood is captured trying to leave through the Gate of the Gods with Jaehaerys' head in a saddle sack. He is tortured in the Black Cells and confesses to everything. He and a ratcatcher were hired by a woman to kill Prince Jaehaerys. This woman matches the description of Lady Mysaria. He was trying to escape to Harrenhal to deliver the boy's head to Prince Daemon Targaryen and collect his reward. Despite this confession, the torture continues, until he dies on the 13th day of suffering. Goldcloaks scour the city for Mysaria and Cheese, but find nothing. In fact, the ratcatcher himself disappears forever from the histories. Aegon does order the execution of 100 ratcatchers, but we never know if Cheese was caught. Rhaenyra's involvement is more unclear. Before the assassination, she is grieving in Dragonstone when she receives a letter from Daemon. It reads, "An eye for an eye, a son for a son, Lucerys shall be avenged." Unlike in the show, her thoughts on this entire act of cruelty are unknown. The book presents a more calculated, sadistic interpretation of Jaehaerys' murder, one in which Helaena is forced to choose, in which the boy's death was always planned, in which Mysaria pays the culprits, Daemon gives the order, and Rhaenyra's involvement is a mystery. All of this, of course, comes from a variety of conflicting and biased sources, so the objective truth cannot be known. The show, however, presents a more ambiguous, messy act of butchery. Rhaenyra vaguely demands action. Daemon blackmails Mysaria into giving him contacts, and then orders the death of Lucerys' murderer, with the caveat that a son must be slain. Blood and Cheese, unable to find their main target, improvise in a brutal fashion, but do not engage in the sadistic mind games of their book counterparts. Despite the differences between page and screen, these assassins have the same impact. A family further divided, a realm further shattered, and a conflict barreling towards total war. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy animated book versus show comparisons, feel free to like the video and subscribe to Fantasy Haven. Stay tuned, there will be more quickie reviews and animated content to come. You can also check out the Patreon, where we do weekly live streams and episode watch-alongs on the Discord. On top of that, we have a cheeky merch store. To learn about the real Viserys, check out this video on the left, and to hear my thoughts on episode 1 of season 2, check out this video on the right. Special thanks to my patrons, in particular Alex, Andre, Boombler, Caden, Colshot, Devcole, and Loopsie. See ya.